Right, so yesterday I spoke about false peacekeepers, the two different levels. What we do when we're speaking to kids and what we do when we're dealing with adults that are false peacekeepers. So if you missed out on that video, go back and watch yesterday's video and then come back then and watch this one. So in yesterday's video I said that I would explain the difference between being confrontational and actually setting a boundary, okay? Now, I have people in this room the whole time, and even when I'm out speaking, where people say to me, adults and kids and people in business, it doesn't really matter. People say this. Oh, I'm not confrontational. Oh, no. I don't like confrontation. I wouldn't be into it now. I just avoid that at all costs. And I have to explain to them this. What being confrontational is when you specifically go out poking and prodding and looking for an argument. And people mix up what confrontation is and setting a boundary all the time, okay? So if somebody is pushing your buttons or is crossing a boundary and you become aware of this, and like I said yesterday, you go, don't really know about that now. Do you think that you lack confidence to say, do you know what? That doesn't really suit me when you do that. Or, do you know, like when you speak like that, or when you speak to me like that, it doesn't make me feel very good. Do you have the confidence to say what you see? I say to my clients all the time, say what you see will set you free. When you say what you see, everybody in the room is kept in the loop, and nobody will have that feeling of, oh, that doesn't make me feel very good. What's going on here? Okay? So the next time that you say to yourself, oh, I'm not confrontational, do you really mean, I don't have the confidence to address that issue with that person. I just don't feel confident enough in myself to say no, or to say that doesn't suit me, or to say how you're treating me or speaking to me doesn't make me feel very good. I'm obsessed with language. I want you to make a clear distinction between confrontation and setting a boundary. Now, you all know that boundary, the word boundary is extremely important to me, because when we don't uphold our boundaries, or when we don't respect our boundaries, or when we don't try and re-establish a boundary with somebody, it causes us pain, discomfort and anguish. And I don't want that for anybody who spends time on the I Am Positive Mindset page. There's plenty of videos on the YouTube channel that you can go and watch and take notes and learn from, and other people. Knock yourself out, just take notes, make sure that you're applying the stuff, because the worst thing that you can do is learn this and not do a thing about it, okay? That would be heartbreak for me. Barry Morta says, oh, curly boy, thanks very much. I got a curly blow dry earlier on. Now, I got a message, I'm going to read a message from somebody that I got earlier on. They watched my video yesterday and they got a lot from it, okay? They learned a lot from it. Now, this person is not even in this country, okay? She's in a different country. So I won't read the start of it because I want to keep this neutral and I don't want the person to be identified. But I will read the latter half of the message, because I want to make sure, like, everybody has different interpretations of stuff, right? And I want to make sure that everybody is understanding exactly what it is that I'm saying. Because sometimes what I'm saying, and this happens in, you know, relationships all the time, sometimes my intention behind what it is that I'm saying is not your interpretation. It's not the same, okay? Your interpretation of what it is that I'm saying is completely different. So I was really glad that this girl sent me this message, because it gets me to explain this on a different level, on like a deeper level, okay? So she sent me a lovely message about how she really, you know, is enjoying the work and yada, yada, yada. So then she goes on to say, looking forward to the next installment, as I have struggled with the difference between ripping someone to shreds, which can come to me easily, and clearly, articulately making them aware of my boundaries. But I did it this year. It was exhausting, but rewarding. Keep up the great work, okay? So This person is clearly doing a massive amount of self-development work on themselves, because when you are admitting a negative behavior, oh my God, it's so freeing. Like I can recall a good few years ago when I did this whole self-analysis where I was extremely honest with myself about negative parts of my personality that were no longer serving me, and I was very gentle with myself about it, admitted my faults, and started apologising for the bullshit that was falling out of my mouth. And when you own all of who you are, when you're able to own all of who you are, warts and all, it is so freeing. That this is not an excuse for you to be able to go off and be nasty to people and say, oh, well, I've owned who I am. You have to own who you are and then put it right. Do the right thing no matter what, okay? So let me just explain about this person who is struggling to find the difference between ripping someone to shreds and clearly and articulately making them aware of my boundaries. Okay. The reason why I can speak about this particular subject so eloquently is because I was that person, okay? I lived that life and I walked in those shoes for many years, and this was the problem. I will never forget it. An amazing woman by the name of Yvonne taught me this lesson. This is what she said. It floored me. It was like she took a spiritual bat out of her bag and smacked me across the side of the head. And this is what she said. She said, honesty without love is brutality. I was being honest with people, but I was being brutally honest with people. And people would say, oh, well, you know, Nick, don't sit on the fence, whatever you do. Or, Jesus, why don't you, Neil would often still say this, why don't you just tell me how you really feel, Nicola? Which is clearly him being sarcastic. Or I would get messages, picture messages sent to me all the time of Willy Wonka saying, I'm not Willy Wonka, I don't sugarcoat shit. So that was a hard lesson for me to learn, to be honest with people with love, because, you know, nobody wants to be brutal and nobody wants to be hurting people. But when you've grown up just doing this thing and it has served you well for a period of time, but then you realise when you get older, this is actually quite hurtful. How you deliver your message is so important. Your integrity and your intention behind it is still the same, but you can deliver it in a completely different way, okay? Now this lesson has you know, chased me down for a couple of years. And last year I recall being out in a hotel in Dunleary, and I went to see Marianne Williamson, somebody who I have admired for many, many years, and she has taught me so much. She is one of my spiritual teachers, and I had an opportunity. I shook like a leaf. I had the microphone in two hands. I was like this, literally shaking in my boots. And I told her about two particular challenges I was having. And it was all about collective responsibility in communities with children. And that, again, I say what I see. So if I see something that's out of order, I've no problem in calling it out. Because I believe that we all have collective responsibility as a community to be able to raise each other up. Rather than saying, oh, well, that's none of my business, then I can't get involved there. Everybody needs to get involved. We all need to help each other no matter what. And when we see bullshit, we need to call out the bullshit. However, we need to deliver it in a really nice way. But, you know, one of the biggest lessons of my life last year was Marianne, when I explained these two challenges that I was having with my son. He wasn't happy with how I was handling particular situations in the community. And I didn't want to be falling out with him, but I still wanted to follow my moral compass and my values. And she said to me, you better watch your delivery. And it was like, oh my God, here's this lesson again, back to bite me on the ass. So for the person who sent me that message, take my lesson as yours. Watch your delivery. Be careful with your delivery. Also, sometimes it really is okay to sugarcoat stuff. So now what I do when I'm delivering honesty without brutality, delivering honesty with love, I imagine, you know, the SH1T pile, okay, you know, the poo emoji. If you're delivering a really bad message to somebody, okay, and it is a difficult message to deliver to somebody, I have to deliver, you know, difficult messages in here to people all the time. People, they don't want to hear certain things, but it's my job to be honest with them, but I have to deliver it in a certain way. I imagine the poo pile with a bow on the top of it. I sprinkle it in glitter and I spray it in a bit of perfume. And I just deliver it in a completely different way. And that seems to be going down well. So let me scroll back here just to make sure that I'm getting everybody. So Lisa Truffin says, oh my God, so true. And a beautiful butterfly. Thank you, Lisa. One of my heritage friends. Sandra Amborn, thanks. P.S. I love your curly hair. Thank you. My hairdresser will be delighted with that. Own all of who you are and then put it right. So important. Gabrielle Collins Lawler, 100%. Barry Morta, I love that saying. Jackie P, hi, watching here from the Philippines. Oh my God, from the Philippines, isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing that we have people watching from the Philippines? I'm so happy about that. Jackie, go and spread all the work, go and spread all the news and all of the good stuff from this page. It is so important that we spread this work as far as we can. Listen, that's the story. That's all the news I have for today. I'm going to clock out of here and pull the shutters in the I Am Positive Mindset room for the night. And I look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow. I'm sure I will come up with something else that I want to impart knowledge-wise for you. So listen, if I've stored up anything in here or you have more questions now than answers, put the questions in underneath and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can, okay? Take it easy, slow. And I'm practicing more self-care, lads. I'm practicing clocking off work because I was working mental hours with staying online and making sure I was getting back to people quickly in the evenings. However, I'm no longer doing that. I'm giving my phone to my husband the minute I walk in the door and I will be back in work in the morning. Take it easy, slow.